गावात झोपच जावं लागतं.
आ रही क्या आवाज? आ रही ना? ओके। Hello. Hello.
Hello.
बोलिए ना आपका नाम।
No. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
When we say we are best in technology, what is this going on? That's a bad show.
I'll inform them that you are joining from my link, so they'll be coordinating.
Why not from here? That he came, no? Mr. Amin or is somebody had come?
Yes, ma'am. I came from Azim College with my link. If they are joining from there, so
At what time they are going to start? 10:30. Again.
All the dignitaries and participants present over here will be starting very soon. Shortly, we're starting just in few minutes. So please stay live on this meet.
और उधर से शुरू है कि नहीं वो देखो।
yes, बंद करना। ये program slide में है।
Welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, you can do it. Is there?
So I can do it.
Yeah.
Or should I stand outside?
There, from there you see whether my voice, everything is coming correctly or not from the college.
Requesting all participants to please mute themselves. Requesting all participants to mute themselves.
Mute करो.
We have close to 50 participants who have joined in. We are waiting for a few more minutes to begin. Please be ready. We would start in a few minutes. Thank you for being here, everyone. To make the most out of this webinar, I request you to keep a pen, paper along with you to make notes. We are going to have wonderful sessions of good speakers, international and national. We're going to start in a minute or two. Use the chat box, put in your questions whenever you would like to communicate through that. Be mindful of the mic and the video.
Good morning, Natya sir. Good morning, Dr. Anju. You are good.
Hello, ma'am. Shall we start?
Yes.
Yes. Sumit sir, you can start.
Yes, ma'am. Requesting for the first slide, please. E-Classes B.Ed College, could you please put on the first slide so that we can begin our session? Thank you. Okay, let's begin then. Good morning, hello, and namaste. Today on 20th January 2021, 10:32 and 45 seconds by the clock, Indian Standard Time, we are starting. We are all here to participate in the international multidisciplinary webinar on exploring happiness education, need of Generation Next. On behalf of MCE Education Societies, HGM Azam College of Education, Pune, and Council of Educational Administration and Management, that is CAM, I welcome you all. Our distinguished guest speakers and resource persons, our esteemed Honorable President, Dr. P.A. Inamdar Sir, and Vice President, Mrs. Abeda Inamdar Ma'am, and members of the management. Our collaborative partners, the CEM President, Chairperson, and members of CEM. Our admirable Principal, Dr. Anita Belapurkar Ma'am, our cheerful and caring professors, and my blissful participants. Welcome once again. For making any event successful, we need blessings. So let's seek blessings of the Almighty God. I invite Ms. Ursa Syed, student of BSc B.Ed, to offer prayers to begin our today's event. Ursa, please unmute yourself, switch on your video, and recite us the dua.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Ameen. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the specially merciful. All praise and thanks be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the entirely merciful, the specially merciful. Owner, Master of the Day of Judgment. You alone do we worship, and you alone we ask for help. Guide us on the straight path, the path of those whom you have favored, not the path of those who earn your anger, nor of those who go astray. O Allah, accept it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ursa. Thanks for connecting us with the Almighty. ज्ञान बनो कर्मशील कर्म ज्ञानवान पुण्यमयी दे आम्हा अक्षर वरदान. These words inspire us and bond us with the university under one roof. Now, may I request Assistant Professor Asfia Ansari ma'am to play our university song. Over to you, Asfia ma'am.
Excuse me, there is some technical issue. Just a second, we'll get back to you all.
No worries.
Pariksha
Thank you, Ansari ma'am. Martin Luther King once said that darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. So, for driving darkness out, as per our tradition, we will begin the session with lighting of lamp. Traditionally, it was done by lighting the earthen lamp. Now, with this new technology and situation changing everywhere, like learning becoming e-learning, meetings changing to e-meetings, and seminars becoming webinars. Likewise, today, we will also perform e-lightning of the lamp. So, may I request Assistant Professor Asma Sheikh ma'am to please initiate the slide of e-lighting the lamp. Over to you, Asma ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. It is said that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So let's start this session of e-felicitation of our guests. So for e-felicitating our guests, may I request Assistant Professor Asma Sheikh ma'am to please initiate the e-felicitation. Over to you, Asma ma'am. Asma ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Sumit sir, proceed.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. It is said that a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Now, for welcoming our guest and giving us brief idea about this webinar, may I request our beloved principal, Dr. Anita Pelapurkar ma'am, to do the honors. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Sumit. Respected dignitaries present here, keynote speaker Dr. Philip, CEM National President Dr. Shashi Kumar sir, Chairperson CEM of all the states, members, our very own President Dr. P.A. Inamdar sir, Vice President Mrs. Inamdar, management members, participants, and all my colleagues. A very good morning to you all. On behalf of Maharashtra Cosmopolitan Education Societies, HGM Azam College of Education, I welcome you for this international webinar on exploring happiness through exploring happiness education, need of generation next. I would also like to mention a note of thanks to the President of CAM, Shashi Kumar sir, his team, Chairperson CAM Maharashtra Chapter, Professor Madhuri Chave, for giving us opportunity of launching CEM Maharashtra Chapter on this occasion. In the very beginning, I would like to tell you about our very own Maharashtra Cosmopolitan Education Society. This was established in the year 1948 with the objective of providing education to economically, socially, and educationally weaker section of the society. It is one of the oldest educational organizations of Pune, Maharashtra. Within a span of 15 years, recent 15 years, under the guidance of our very own President, Dr. P.A. Inamdar sir, Vice President Mrs. Abeda Inamdar Madam, MC Society from a beginning of 4 schools has been transformed into a lush green educational complex of various institutions, various technical, professional, educational, academic institutions in all the disciplines with 7 research centers at professional colleges. MC Society's HGM Azam College of Education was established in the year 1993 with Bachelor in Education course, and it has added feathers in its cap with the programs in education affiliated with Savitribai Phule Pune University as MEd, Masters in Education, MPhil in Education, BA B.Ed 4 years integrated program, BSc B.Ed 4 years integrated program, and PhD in Education. We at Azam try for preparing our student teachers in all the aspects, curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular, to make them ready to educate their students in the classroom happily. The highest function of education is to bring about an integrated individual who is capable of dealing with the life as a whole. If the life inherently involves the pursuit of happiness, education should prepare the learners to face this challenge. Nowadays, increasing focus is being placed on happiness as one of the most important human qualities at national, international, organizational, and individual level. Like in 1972, Bhutan replaced gross national product with gross national happiness as their main measure of progress. Education can do a great deal to enrich students' lives and help create a more happy society. For this, the key should be to make learning more authentic, more experiential, joyful, and more personally meaningful to the learners. Education not only can lead to happiness, but can also be a source of happiness in one and of itself. Thus, we can learn to be happy and we can also be happy to learn. So today, let's explore more about happiness education in the upcoming sessions. I once again welcome you all. Have a great day ahead. Thank you, and over to Sumit.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, we will move towards the most awaited section. May I request Assistant Professor Dipali Mehekarkar ma'am to take the charge for launching the session of CEAM Maharashtra chapter. Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Sumit sir. As per Henry Ford says, coming together is a beginning, staying together is a process, and working together is success. We are experiencing this as we jointly organizing this webinar with CEM Council of Educational Administration and Management, Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. Today, CEAM Maharashtra chapter will be launched here and one more feather will be added in our cap. So, I am inviting Dr. Nimi ma'am, National Secretary of CEAM, to brief us about CEAM. Ma'am, please unmute yourself and switch on the video. Over to Dr. Nimi ma'am.
Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Respected distinguished guests and dear participants, a warm good morning to one and all. At the outset, let me take this opportunity to congratulate the strenuous and tireless effort initiated by SGM Azam College of Education, Pune, under the able leadership of Dr. Anita, for hosting such a multidisciplinary international webinar on the theme Exploring Happiness Education, Need of Generation Next. My bounden duty of this day is to speak on CEAM, that is the Council for Educational Administration and Management. The Council for Educational Administration and Management, CEAM, is a registered non-governmental national professional organization founded in the year 2019 with headquarters at Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala, for prioritizing the areas and actions of educational administration and management education across the nation and beyond. The cardinal mission and vision of the organization is to foster collective development through multifarious academic initiatives pertaining to the educational realm. The organization's policy is to combine human and material resources to supervise, plan, strategize, and realize programs and structure pertaining to educational management and administration. The organization has defined a number of objectives, both from the educational and the societal realm. But due to paucity of time, I would just highlight the major ones. First is to organize programs to strengthen the areas of educational administration and management, then to promote short-term researchers in these areas, to disseminate among members the latest developments and practice in the administration and management, institute awards, etc., for the benefit of those who are striving for to promote publication of newsletters, journals, books, monographs, and the like, to collaborate with other like-minded agencies to share opinions and ideas, to conduct seminars, workshops, colloquium for the benefit of the society. And those who are interested to avail membership, this is open to all teachers and people who are undergoing different kinds of research, who have an interest in teaching, administration, and management. For the life membership, the fees is rupees 2,000. I would take this opportunity to encourage all researchers, students to join this organization to foster your academic development and to work in this educational realm and also in the society. And once again, I take this opportunity to appreciate and felicitate the entire team headed by Dr. Anita ma'am for hosting such a wonderful webinar. And the theme which you have selected is really an awesome theme because everybody loves to have happiness in their life. But through education, how we can achieve it. So the title of the seminar or the theme of the seminar is so catchy and it is of high relevance to the society and to the entire educational realm. With these words, let me wind up. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Dr. V.M. Shashikumar, sir, National President of CEM, to do the honor of announcement of launching of CEM Maharashtra chapter. Sir, please unmute yourself and switch on the video. Over to Dr. Shashikumar, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Respected Professor P.A. Inamdar, as President, and Mr. Sabida Inamdar, Vice President of MCE Society and Chief Patrons of the International Webinar, Mr. Latif Magdam, Secretary, and Professor Muzaffar Sheikh, a member of MCE Society and patrons of this program, Professor Benwarilal Natia, Chairperson NRC NCTE and President of CEM, Advisory Board President of CEM, Dr. M.S. Geeta, National President, Council for Education Administration and Management, Dr. Anida Makarand Belapur, Principal, HGM Assam College of Education and General Convener of the webinar, Dr. Madhuri Isave, Associate Professor, Tilak College of Education, Pune, and Chairperson of CEM Maharashtra, Ms. Deepali, Assistant Professor, HGM Assam College and Webinar Coordinator, national officials of CEM and national and international academic consultants, members of advisory board of CEM, state chairpersons, and members of CEM, Dr. International RPs, and dear participants. Good morning to one and all. You have been listening to the glimpses on Council for Educational Administration and Management by Dr. Nimmi Maria Umman, Assistant Professor, Titus Second Teachers College, Tiruvalla, Kerala, and National Secretary, CE. I have great pleasure to witness this multidisciplinary international webinar on exploring happiness education, need of generation next, jointly organized by AGM, Assam College of Education, Pune, Maharashtra, and Council for Educational Administration and Management. I would like to congratulate the management, Principal Dr. Anita Belapurkar, Coordinator Ms. Deepali, faculty of Assam College of Organizing, Assam College, for organizing such a wonderful program. I would like to express my deep gratitude to Dr. Madhuri Isave, Chairperson SEAM, Maharashtra chapter, to associate with this venture. I am very happy that today is an auspicious day as far as Council for Educational Administration and Management is concerned. With the permission of those who are watching this event, I declare the launching of CEAM, Council for Educational Administration and Management, Maharashtra chapter, and once again announce that Dr. Madhuri Isave is as its chairperson. I, as National President of SEAM, hope for nothing but the growth of this organization in entire Maharashtra. Good luck to all office bearers. Let me conclude. Jai Hind. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Madhuri Isave, ma'am, Chairperson of CEAM Maharashtra, to grace us with her knowledge. Ma'am, please unmute yourself and turn on the video. Over to Isave, ma'am.
Thank you, Deepali. Good morning to all. I am talking here as a chairperson of Maharashtra chapter. Thank you, Dr. Shashikumar sir. It is my great pleasure to be given an opportunity to say few words at the launching ceremony of the CEM, especially Maharashtra chapter. First and foremost, let me congratulate all those who have worked hard to materialize the CEM chapters and organization. Especially, I would like to mention National President, Dr. M.S. Geeta, former Dean, Faculty of Education, University of Kerala, Dr. Shashikumar sir, Dr. Nimmi Maria, and all other executive members of the body. I welcome you all on this launching ceremony. Especially, I would like to say my heartfelt gratitude and many thanks to AGM Azam College Management, Professor Inamdar sir and ma'am, Principal Dr. Anita Belapurkar ma'am, Coordinator Ms. Deepali, Madhuri Yadav, and entire Azam Faculty of Education, Faculty of College, organized such a nice seminar and very nice theme, very innovative theme, current theme in this webinar, and given us platform to launch SEAM chapters. Thank you each and every one of the year. As we know, many organizations has been working in education field, and I believe our CEM network of relationship with national and international support will bring innovative ideas in various activities in the form of conference, project, seminar, projects, short-term courses, and other research network. Will increase the productivity of SEAM with the help of members, especially our Maharashtra members, Dr. Anita Belapurkar ma'am, Dr. Madhuri Yadav, Dr. Sarika Chhabria, Dr. Mulchandani, Dr. Magar sir, Professor Gulane sir, Dr. Renu Baiskar ma'am, and other members who have joined CEM chapter. After this conference, we'll distribute CEM membership form. Those who wish to join CEM chapter for their upliftment, please contact to me and other members. We create harmony in work with the help of this and guidance of National President and other esteemed members. I believe and I trust CEM Maharashtra chapter will be very effective and efficiently work at state, national and international level too. And for the central idea of CEM, I request to organizer, please play the promo video of CEM if possible. So once again, thank you so much to all, AGM College of Education, Anita Belapurkar ma'am, and all. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Hello. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, we will play the video later on because we have to stick with the time schedule.
Okay.
Now I request Dr. Geeta ma'am to say few words. Ma'am, please unmute yourself and switch on video. Over to Geeta ma'am.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Am I visible? Visible?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Good morning, all of you. Most distinguished patrons of this international multidisciplinary webinar, other dignitaries, Dr. Bridget Phillips, national and international resource persons, the national president of SEAM, Dr. V.M. Shashikumar, Chairperson SEAM Maharashtra, Dr. Madhuri Save, all other respected organizers attending this online program, and my dear friends. My greetings to all of you. It gives me immense pleasure in speaking a few words congratulating the SEAM chapter Maharashtra, which has been launched here a few minutes ago. SEAM, as you all know, is a non-governmental voluntary national organization committed to the upliftment of teachers and other personnel in the field of education, administration, and management. Within a span of 1 year, this organization spreads its wings with 10 variety programs in national and international level. COVID-19 helps us to conduct online webinars on topics of importance, national importance. As one of the national office bearers, I am very happy to attach or amalgamate the Maharashtra team in our group. I hope this group of teachers fosters a strong team relationship and a healthy organization culture in future. This is vital in the process of developing and sustaining effective people engagement and recognition. On behalf of the entire national team of SEAM, I would like to express my sincere admiration for the efforts taken by Dr. Madhuri Save for forming a team of SEAM in Maharashtra. We recognize your work, Dr. Madhuri, in growing precious roots for this organization in Maharashtra. May God bless you to develop a very big plant or very big tree of SEAM from entire Maharashtra. You might know this phrase, luck occurs when preparation meets opportunity. May God bless you to work hard as a team to achieve positive results. Thank you, Dr. Madhuri, for all your efforts, even in this COVID period. And I also congratulate the convener, general convener and principal of this webinar, Dr. Anita, for taking efforts in conducting such a wonderful international webinar of interdisciplinary mode. I hope the team of SEAM in Maharashtra will be a well-crafted one, which will boost up the quality of teachers and administrators to fulfill the goals very shortly. Wish you all success for the organization as well as for this international webinar. I'm stopping. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Mrs. Sarika ma'am to say few words. Ma'am, please unmute yourself and switch on video. Over to Sarika ma'am.
Hello. Very good morning, one and all the respected dignitaries present on this platform and all the dear participants. This is Sarika Chhabria Talreja speaking from Thane, Mumbai. I feel privileged to be a part of Maharashtra chapter of CEAM. My best wishes for all of its future endeavors. I sincerely hope and pray that the chapter per se and the council at large progresses by leaps and bounds under the leadership and guidance of Dr. Madhuri ma'am. Looking forward to a long and fruitful association. Thanks all.
Thank you, ma'am. Now over to Sumit.
Thank you, ma'am. for launching CEAM. Great leaders don't tell you what to do, they show how it is done. It is perfectly applicable to our president. So, to introduce you all to our esteemed Honorable President Dr. P.A. Inamdar sir, I invite Assistant Professor Dipali Mehekarkar ma'am. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. It is said that action inspires others to dream more, learn more, and do more and become more. Then you are a leader. And our president, Dr. P. Inamdar sir, is really a true leader. His actions inspire many to do more and become somebody and pursue the happiness and success in life. Sir has expertise in various professions like he is a builder, he is a banker, he is an agriculturist, he is an educationist, he is a social worker, he is a legal luminary too, working in healthcare sector also. In education field, remarkable work has been done by him. Sir was an ex-member of various educational councils and committees. He is a managing trustee of various educational organizations. He is a chairman of various educational trusts like Haji Ghulam Muhammad Azam Education Trust, Pune, then Crescent India Medical Educational Trust, Pune. He is a vice president of Confederation of Minority Education Institutes of India. He is a president of various educational trusts like Maharashtra Cosmopolitan Education Society, Pune, and P.A. Inamdar Education Trust, Pune. Sir has been considered as an absolute authority in various legal areas. He has been consulted by heads of various institutions, leaders of various religious and linguistic minorities, politicians and bureaucrats at all levels for that. Sir has a unique oratorical style comparable to none. He has delivered lectures and speeches not only in India but outside India as well. He has spoken as a keynote speaker, chairman and presiding officer at many national, international level seminars, workshops and conferences. As philanthropist by nature, he has donated generously for the establishment of educational institutions, hospitals, orphanages and charitable trusts across India. Sir has credited with many outstanding achievements. I will read few of them here. Sir is single-handedly responsible for bringing 60 Muslim communities in the official government list of OBCs, thereby enabling lakhs of Muslim youth to take benefit offered by the government of India. Sir is responsible for the transformation of Azam Campus Pune from a barren stretch of 24 acres of land having 2 primary schools and 2 high schools into a beehive of educational activity. Today, 41 educational institutions, including 9 professional institutions, are flourishing under his able guidance and leadership. Sir is tirelessly working to impart knowledge of information technology to poor, needy, and deserving students. He aims and desires to completely bring e-teaching, e-learning, and e-administration at Azam campus and other affiliated schools by year 2022. And sir, we can say that this international webinar could be the example of fulfilling your wish. Finally, we can say that the true spirit of Dr. Inamdar sir is visible only upon a visit to any one institution with which he is connected. There we will observe his managerial ability, finance management, dedication, perseverance, commitment towards cleanliness and environmental issues, his secular nature, and so on. Sir We all are very blessed that we are working under your guidance. Now, I request Dr. P.A. Inamdar sir to guide us with his valuable words. Over to Dr. P.A. Inamdar sir.
Madam Mrs. Abeda Inamdar, Vice President of the Maharashtra Cosmopolitan Education Society, Dr. Shashi Kumar, National President of Council of Education Administration and Management, Madam Madhuri Visave, President Maharashtra Chapter, Dr. Philip from Australia, Dr. Mrs. Bela Purkar, Principal of our college, are all colleagues and those who are participating in this webinar on the subject of exploring happiness, education, need of generation next. I think Dr. Bela Purkar continuously keeps her subordinates busy in colleges and also in other activities. And this is what we expect as a management. Sharing knowledge, keeping staff up to date and students up to date of other activities which are happening otherwise around. And ultimately, education is the chapter where all of are trying to trigger what is happening around and something new about it. I would like to tell Dr. Shashi Kumar, National President, sir, we are with you. This campus, you please treat as your campus. Wherever and whatever we will be able to do for you, we will be doing it. And same way, Madhuri Madam, see to it that you use all our facilities and also whatever support is required, so that as a head of Maharashtra chapter, you should be able to show some very positive result as far as your same is concerned. I am worried about the changing circumstances of education system, the way things are changing, and technology is overtaking the initial way of teaching and learning, and how to overcome this difficulty. Particularly, so far, we have not been able to foresee what changes are likely to happen and whether our syllabus is likely to be changed, or online will be the way of life, or online whether it can achieve offline whatever happens or whatever things take place. We have to also discuss all these things, and particularly how technology based teaching learning can happen through to students must be our main thinking. And I think if all these things come together, education system will become strong, and those who are connected with the organization and all India and also our state heads will be able to show their results and the expectation which they are having or which expectation we are having from them. I wish this seminar or webinar and what all participants who are going to give their experience, they will going to share their knowledge. The people who are listening to them, they will be able to benefit that. I wish them all best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your positive, visionary, and action-oriented words. Every time we listen to you, we want to listen more from you. Your thoughts are inspiring for us. Now the moment has come for which we all are waiting to learn. So let's move towards today's keynote address. So I invite Assistant Professor Dipali Mehekarkar ma'am to introduce us to today's keynote speaker. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. As Michael Schumacher says, once something is a passion, the motivation is there. This is absolutely applicable to our today's keynote speaker, Dr. Brigitte Phillips ma'am. She is an university professor, a researcher, a keynote speaker, a systematic coach, a language trainer, a drive master, specializing in education, sciences, higher education, didactics, and faculty development, transformative learning, critical thinking, and reflective practices, diversity management and organizational development, intercultural competence in management and healthcare, and so on. She has 19 years of relevant professional experience in various universities and colleges. She has worked as project manager, researcher, lecturer, educator, and so on. Now, she is working as an university professor in Burgenland University of Applied Science, Pinkerfield, Austria. She is having nearly 9 years of international experience in 70 countries worldwide. She has published 15 research articles in various peer-reviewed journals of various countries like New York, India, Austria. She has received many renowned awards like Award for Scientific Excellence. Also, she has nominated for National Prize for Excellent Teaching. She has successfully completed many trainings, workshops related to didactics. Recently, she has worked for Right to Health project in Bihar, India. It was related to conception, planning, and implementation of voluntary health education project. She has conducted Train the Trainer health education workshops in Yangon, Myanmar. It was a fundraising and culturally sensitive workshop on family planning, hygiene, infection disease in daycare centers in Yangon. Ma'am's profile is very long, but due to time constraint, I have read out very few points of it. Thank you, organizer, for giving me this opportunity. But I think Brigitte ma'am is joining us from Austria. So see, we'll get connected with her. Just bear with us. Give us only 2-3 minutes. We'll see whether she's online or not. Just bear with us for 2-3 minutes. We'll see.
Thank you, Dipali ma'am. As we are waiting for our keynote speaker to join in, I request all learners to keep themselves ready with the pen, paper, etc. to note down the learnings. I'll also request participants if you could make e-notes and put it on the chat later after the completion of the session. We could also look at your learnings and learn from each other. So get yourself prepared. Remove all distractions away. Till lunchtime, you would have an awesome learning experience, especially on our emotional quotient, which we are talking about. Bloom's effective domain, happiness.
Hello, participants. Brigitte ma'am is still coming so we will see the video of CEF, which will give us brief idea about CEF. Just play the video.
आवाज नो वॉइस नहीं वो देख ही रही होगी ना हम एक्चुअली वहाँ आवाज आ रहा है लैपटॉप पे ओके यहाँ पे बिल्कुल नहीं आ रहा हाँ अभी आने नहीं बोलूँगी मैं उनको कि पार्टिसिपेंट्स को सुनाएं और फिर से आना थोड़ा सा काम था
Hello, Sumit. Our
Yes, ma'am.
keynote speaker has joined. So you just welcome her and you.
Yes, ma'am. Welcome, Dr. Birgit Phillips, ma'am. Welcome to this webinar. I would request you to unmute yourself. Students.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Would you like to present some PowerPoint presentation along?
Is it my turn already? I was planning on presenting an hour later. Is it already my turn now?
Yes, ma'am. We
Yes,
have completed. Yeah.
Then I would like to ask just for 1 minute to get myself a glass of water. It's
Sure,
6:55 in the morning and I literally just got up. So I would be happy just to get a glass of water and come back in 1 minute, okay?
No worries, ma'am. Please.
Okay.
So participants, hold your thumbs together in the chat and welcome ma'am. Till then, as she gets ready and starts her session.
So now I have to ask, what time is it in India at the moment where you are?
Ma'am, it's 11:26 a.m.
Is it really?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have a 4.5 hour time difference.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
thought it was 3.5.
Ma'am?
Yes?
Yeah, ma'am, I would request that you can start with your keynote address.
I will. Okay. Have you introduced me, or should I introduce myself?
Ma'am, you can introduce also, because I already done it, because I thought you were coming. Yeah.
Yes, I'm terribly sorry about this misunderstanding. I had a little bit of a back and forth about the time, and I even asked, is it 3.5 hours? And, you know, apparently something must have gotten wrong. So I do apologize for, getting the timing wrong. I'm sorry about that. All right, I will share my slides now and start presenting. So. Okay, you should be able to see a blue screen now, am I right?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay, excellent. So, yes, I missed the introduction. I'm terribly sorry again about the timing conflict here. So just like to briefly introduce myself as well. My name is Birgit Phillips. I am a professor of education from the University of Applied Sciences Burgenland in Austria. And I also teach and run projects at the Karl Franzens University of Graz. Graz is the second largest city in Austria. So I'm kind of like split in between these two places. I run teacher training workshops in higher education didactics. I've been working in the field of higher education for almost 20 years now. And I'm very happy, I'm very honored to be here today to present this keynote at this webinar, and would like to extend my gratitude as well to the organizers and to the organizing institutions. So I thought I'll start this presentation today with a few images and tell you a bit about my home country and how it relates to the topic of this keynote. I'm going to check one last time. Can you see my presentation all right?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Yes, excellent. Thank you. So I come from a very small country of 8 million people in the center of Europe, Austria. It's quite often confused with Australia. So we print t-shirts with this logo on it to make clear we're not Australians. We're famous for classical composers such as Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Franz Schubert, Johann Strauss, or Joseph Haydn, grand palaces, but also modern cultural events and more traditional ones, such as the Christmas markets that we find in almost every town and village in Austria. Austria is full of quaint villages and towns. This is Salzburg, you can see it here, the birthplace of Mozart, and the castle in the background. This is an image of my hometown, Graz, which is the second largest city in Austria with only 300,000 people. We're one of the top tourist destinations for skiing in winter, and also hiking in summertime. The standard of living in Austria is quite high. We have an average life expectancy of 82 years. We're among the top countries in the world in terms of income and wealth, jobs and earning. housing, health status, subjective well-being, personal security, social connections, environmental quality, and education. In terms of Austria education, about 85% of adults aged between 25 and 64 years of age have completed high school or upper secondary education, which is more than the OECD average of 78%. In terms of education quality, the students score above average in reading literacy, math, and science. Now, why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you this because almost 1 in 4 adolescents in Austria is currently suffering from a mental health problem. And over 1/3 of all adolescents have had a mental health problem at some stage in their lives. And this is the central finding of one of the globally the largest, and definitely in Austria, an Austria-wide epidemiological study that looked into the prevalence of mental health problems in Austria. The most common types of disorders that were mentioned are anxiety disorders, followed by psychosocial and depressive disorders. And these issues are not automatically going to disappear once these adolescents reach university. And these numbers are even worse in other countries for which we have research, we have data. Latest research from the United States, for example, has shown that almost 40% of college students suffer from depression and anxiety. Now, to put this in context, Austria is a country with an extremely high standard of living, and these statistics are despite the fact that Austria ranks 9th in the 2020 World Happiness Index, which is published by the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network every year. Now, if a country with such a high score on the World Happiness Index has such terrifying numbers on mental health among adolescents, we can only imagine what the mental health statistics further down the line look at. And this index looks at the world happiness of 156 countries in the world. And since most countries do not even assess mental health on a national scale, we can only imagine what the reality might look like. So what does all of this have to do with education? I can tell you very much. And this is what my talk today is about. I would like to first take a look at the problem with education today. Next, I'd like to explore the concept of eudaimonic happiness as a goal in higher education. And then I'll tell you about which didactical approaches foster eudaimonic happiness in higher education. So let's take a look at the first point, the problem that I see education has today. I think we can all agree that if we look at the world, we're currently in a state of crisis. News reports are full of stories on the climate crisis and burning refugee camps here in Europe, Greece most particularly, and of course the COVID-19 pandemic, which has ravaged the world. And a lot has been written, a lot of research has been done on the crucial role that education plays in addressing some of the world's most pressing issues. After all, the fate of millions of people is largely in the hands of the highly educated elite whose policies and decisions kind of like reflect the moral compass that guides their actions. And I believe that this moral compass is often skewed in favor of those already in power. And this contributes to widespread suffering and death, especially among minorities, migrants, women, persons with disabilities, and the poor. This is a familiar face to you. Extreme inequality around the world in the 21st century is actually getting worse. Never before in the history of our world have we had so many billionaires, and their fortunes are growing at record levels, while the poor are getting poorer. And it was the famous Mahatma Gandhi, I like to quote him because I'm a big fan. He said the world has enough for everyone's needs, but not everyone's greed. So what's the problem with education? Why is it that we have more college-educated people than ever before, and yet the problems of social injustice still persist and are even getting worse? Why is it that so many people are unhappy, despite the fact that they have a pretty decent standard of living, such as what we have here in Austria? Well, there's a growing body of scholars who are convinced that our current mainstream education systems around the world are more part of the problem than they are of the solution. In Austria, as well as in many other countries around the world, the discourse on the purpose of education seems to revolve mostly around increasing economic output and economic efficiency. Yeah. And of course, employability, which is important. There's no doubt about that. But such learning often strengthens dominant social norms and values and behaviors and fosters indifference towards the weaker ones and the causes of poverty and pain and suffering. And this is because educational institutions rarely question dominant roles, dominant social roles and norms and values and behaviors, but they often sustain and strengthen them. In fact, there's a lot of research on this, actually, and both educational researchers and economists have long lamented, they have complained that the problem of education is that there is no correlation between high educational performance and environmentally and socially just actions and behaviors. Many educational measures that we see do not result in moral progress and cultivate solidarity, but they rather sustain and even strengthen competition and isolation and ostracism and dissociation. Let's just take Jeffrey Epstein as an example. He was a former teacher, a banker, a millionaire, but also a convicted sex offender who eventually killed himself in prison. Was he happy? Most likely not. Not only is there no correlation between economic success and moral progress and solidarity, economic success doesn't buy you happiness either. The World Happiness Report, and I'd like to go back to that one for just a second, is published, like I said, by the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network. And it is a survey, a global survey that ranks 156 countries by how happy their citizens perceive themselves and their subjective well-being. And some of the world's richest countries aren't doing so well. Or if we take a look here, Bahrain, for example, is ranked 40th. It's one of the richest countries in the world. Same goes for Kuwait, ranked 48th. Or here we go, Hong Kong, one of the richest economies in the world. And this constant pursuit of more material wealth takes its toll on happiness. Research, for example, has shown that high consumption societies, and Austria is no exclusion here, high consumption societies are characterized by a fast pace of life, by weak social relationships, by loneliness and depression, by ecologically destructive behavior, and by an inability to enjoy the things bought with money. On the other hand, psychological well-being and happiness. What do we need for that? We need human relationships. We need social ties. We need civil rights. We also need community participation and feeling esteemed and loved. So now let me go back to my question. What role does education play in all of this? A lot. One of the main problems is this kind of unquestioned assumption that any learning is good, as long as it increases efficiency, effectiveness, employability, and fulfills market demands. But more and more education scholars, and not just education scholars, but also social scientists from various fields, complain that our current mainstream school system, or systems around the world actually, are systematically eroding the intellectual standard of our nations. And the long-term impact of the current and the prevalent capitalist education system can be best seen in the United States. Here we can see that more than a third, in fact 40.4% of the population holds a college degree. But despite this, most of the population is actually critically undereducated. We define literacy as the ability to read, to write, to understand, to communicate, but also to analyze information. But only 13% of the US population achieves literacy proficiency, meaning that they can compare and analyze data. Only 13% of the population is able to think critically. And this is not a good sign for any democratic society. As we have most recently seen what happened in the United States with the run on the Capitol. Now, universities around the world are still full of teacher-centered classrooms where the teacher is the source of authority that kind of downloads information to the students who just regurgitate it back up for the test. And tests are designed to measure how much content students can remember. Exams are very often based on pure memorization of facts, and the students are measured by the grades that they receive. And this has created a very competitive environment, which has resulted around the world in higher education institutions in a whole range of mental health problems, with depression and suicide rates among college students reaching record levels in industrialized countries. Such learning leaves very little space for asking fundamental questions such as, what epistemic changes in our thinking are necessary to guarantee life or future life on this planet? What does it take to be truly and profoundly happy in life? So I'd like to explore this question a little deeper and take a look at the concept of happiness in higher education. In particular, I'd like to take a look at the concept of eudaimonic happiness in higher education. You might be familiar with this concept, and you probably are, so I'd just like to give you a very brief overview. But this kind of happiness does not come from the pursuit of wealth and riches and honor and power. But what is happiness then? What is it? What does it mean to be happy? Well, you probably know there are a million different ways to define happiness. One of the oldest definitions, and the one that has truly stood the test of time, is eudaimonia. And eudaimonia goes all the way back to the Greek philosopher Aristotle, as you can see in the picture here, a statue, and his philosophical work on the science of happiness. Today, eudaimonia is often simply translated as happiness, but also as flourishing and well-being. And if we look at the etymology of the word, the prefix eu means good and well, and daimon, as in eudaimonia, means spirit. And the Aristotelian notion of eudaimonia or eudaimonian happiness means that happiness and well-being come from how we live our lives. And that's not in pursuit of material wealth and power and honor. Rather, eudaimonic happiness is about the pursuit of virtue, of excellence, of seeking out the best within us. In other words, doing things because you derive genuine enjoyment from them, and because because they're consistent with how you view yourself, with your views of yourself and the world, rather than because of some external reward you're receiving. And education and wisdom are widely believed to enhance the quality of life and to lead to happiness. So eudaimonia is not an end goal, it is the pursuit in itself that is important here. And we have to differentiate eudaimonia and hedonism, which are often confused. Eudaimonia is all about growth and meaning and authenticity and excellence and reaching or fulfilling your potential. Whereas hedonism is about short-term pleasure. It's about enjoyment and comfort and the absence of distress. So you try to avoid distress at all costs. But the hedonic pleasures are not enough to reach eudaimonic happiness, because as we've seen, the examples I gave you before, a person might enjoy life because you have a lot of money, for example, but you might still not really be happy. So happiness does not depend on how high someone is up on the social or economic ladder, but of having kind of like a sense of direction in life, a sense of fulfillment. And this brings me to my next point, the difference between eudaimonia and satisfaction. And especially in the field of higher education, this is an absolutely crucial difference that we need to make, because satisfaction is just a very superficial form of happiness. It is a limiting concept, and I'll explain why. Often these days, or in most countries around the world, universities are judged based on student satisfaction. How satisfied are students with their degrees, rather than how happy are they with their degrees and with their learning experience at the university. So satisfaction has kind of become a proxy for happiness and quality. And today, as I mentioned before, in this rather competitive environment, more often than not, students have, they're viewed as consumers. And this kind of marketization or consumerization of higher education has led to this idea that the customer is always right, and that universities must bow to the wishes of students and their demands. And yeah, from the student perspective, this makes sense. They're just playing their part in the game, and they try to fulfill short-term goals. So universities have turned to academic capitalism, which means they've increased tuition fees and created a market in which students need to search for the best return on their investment in terms of employability, and also in terms of the ability to actually repay their tuition fees. But this marketization of higher education and the idea of the goal of education to fulfill market demands or market needs is a very narrowing, it's a limiting one. And there is a rising tide of scholars and critics who complain that the discourse around economic purpose of higher education is overpowering because it ignores the discussion around happiness. And this has resulted in the fact that the concepts of happiness and satisfaction have been conflated. They've been mixed up. They're treated as if they are the same thing. And there are many examples in academic literature that prove this. When academics write papers and they claim to examine student happiness in a university education context. But when you examine the methodology of these studies, you find that they only focus on factors that actually affect satisfaction, such as classroom management or teaching resources. Yeah. And these same scholars, they criticize that this focus on satisfaction, measures the wrong thing, because student satisfaction surveys, and I know this from my own university, they only really measure the pleasing and short-term elements of education. And research has shown, this is another important point, that usually students voice their satisfaction with those teachers who challenge them the least. And again, if we switch perspectives here from this perspective of the university, it's much easier to assess short-term output or economic outcomes rather than assessing whether or not